Emily to Gremly here with another solo episode. The episode drink of the week is white wine. And I was going to make a cocktail, and I don't know why I felt like having like hard alcohol right now felt like really intense and severe. I have nothing going on later today other than cooking and editing this, but I don't know why. It just felt like a really harsh choice. So I went with white wine because the last time I drank it, it was a good episode. It was a fun episode. It got me loose. So we're just going to stick with the white wine for today. A few things before we get into the episode. I wanted to do a really quick circle back. I did miss last week's episode. I was not supposed to, and it was not planned for me to miss it. The episode you hear today was supposed to be the episode for last week. I did have something come up that I was semi-prepared for. And semi meaning I knew it was going to happen. I just wasn't sure when it was going to happen. And it happened a little earlier than expected. So that is why I couldn't make the episode last week. But I didn't want to like fully skip out, or I don't know, have you guys think I was like sick, or I don't know, just like not feeling like doing an episode, because that's not the message or the way I want to be perceived. I want to be consistent and I want to be loyal to my listener fan base and put out an episode when I'm expected to put out an episode. So that was a fluke. This episode was completely planned out and it just got pushed to this week. I will be able to talk about it more later on at a later date. I feel like I'm like edging or like blue balling you guys by saying I have news, but I can't say it just yet. So it's good news. People did ask like if it was bad or anything like that, but it wasn't. It was really good news, but I can't talk about it just yet. Give me a little bit of time and I will definitely talk about it at length. But until then, just know it was good news and I'll talk about it soon. I hate doing that. I don't like it when people do that and I'm doing it, so it's kind of a bummer, but it's fine. It's fine. Also, the episode I did with Robert, you guys liked that episode. And surprising enough, he actually enjoyed making the episode. So that was a very unexpected surprise. I thought he was going to be like kicking and screaming his entire way through it, but he really enjoyed it. He said he wants to come back and do another episode. So I did get questions, is he going to come back? And then at the end, he did make that joke saying that maybe he'll do episodes without me. I don't know about that, but I guess maybe if I need someone to cover for me, he could do it. I don't know. That means I have to like relinquish some control, and I don't really want to do that. I was going to say just yet. I don't want to do that just yet, but I don't want to do that at all. I like having control. Anyway, but he will come back. And so you guys were asking another episode we could do together. I had fun answering your Gremlin Guidance questions. So I did already get some emails meant specifically for him, because at the end of his episode, I said, if you had Gremlin Guidance questions that you wanted him to answer, put his name in the subject line. I already have some. Keep sending those in and I will schedule him soon. So I'll find time to make another episode with him. We'll answer your Gremlin Guidance questions, and you guys also had some questions just about like our personal relationship. So we can delve more into he said, she said kind of questions when he comes back on. Also, I had the hardest time. I was so frustrated. I was so annoyed. His microphone was not working almost the entire time that we filmed. The episode came out at like, I don't know, 30 something minutes. We were filming for like an hour plus just trying to deal with microphone issues. I don't know what was wrong because I'm not a technical person. I'm the girl who just plugs something in and expects it to work. I don't know what the issue was. So if you had a hard time listening to the episode on streaming services, just go watch the episode on YouTube, because the sound is perfectly clear on YouTube, mainly because I'm using two different microphones. The big microphone you see here is meant for the audio, specifically for like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, those kind of things. These little microphones that I have here pinned to my chest, that is meant for the video. So the video audio is perfect, crystal clear. The the rest of the audio is frustrating. I had a very hard time editing it. I tried to make him as loud as possible, and it just sounds like he's an echo in the distance. So I'm really sorry about the quality of the audio. Hopefully, I don't know what was wrong with the microphone. I still need to test it out, figure it out, see what exactly went wrong. Hopefully, I don't need to buy a new one. But yeah, we can't have that problem happen again when I have a future guest. So I'm going to get that fixed ASAP. And hopefully, it's not an expensive fix. And speaking of future guests, I have an announcement. So I have been wanting to do more like pop culture episodes, and it's not really fun to talk about pop culture by myself because I have no one to like bounce ideas off of or, have chit chat with. But I have planned that as of right now, I think what we're going to do is it's going to be monthly episodes. I think we're going to have them be at the end of the month where we're going to start out talking about pop culture, and then we'll transition into the Gremlin Stories, Gremlin Guidance, and Gremlin Gossip, and just have it be like a really full episode. And my co-host for those episodes is going to be Jay. Now, I'm saying we're going to do these at the end of every month, but that could change just because she now has a full-time job. She's a busy, busy gal. And as of right now, we have a tentative date set for her to come over and record an episode, but it's tentative. It's not a 100% thing. So stay tuned. Pop culture episodes are going to be coming your way, and they should be fun. We already have like a list of stuff we already want to talk about that has happened throughout the month of May. And yeah, we're just going to see how it goes, see how you guys respond to it. Her and I talk about this stuff like on a daily basis anyway. We're sending each other TikToks or Instagram posts about like whatever TMZ is reporting. So it'd be fun to kind of like just go over like the highlights of the month. So stay tuned for those. Jay will be coming on a monthly basis, which makes me happy because I have someone set up every single month now. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, let's get into Gremlin Stories. We actually have a full episode today with all three categories. We have some Gremlin Stories, Gremlin Guidance, and Gremlin Gossip. So let's have some more wine and let's get started. All right, so the first Gremlin story is from Matilda. And Matilda says, I know you've done worse first dates already, but I had to submit this story. Also, I don't know if this is a Gremlin story or a gossip, but I'll just tell you what happened and then you can decide. I put it in stories. So I went out with this guy on a first date who was just kind of meh. He was nice, but kind of dull, and I just didn't feel a spark. I know it's not nice, but when he texted me a couple of days later to arrange another date, I just never got back to him. I figured he would just get the hint and go away, but I was wrong. A few days later, I get a random message on Instagram from someone who I don't follow and who does not follow me. And in all capital letters, she says, it was his mother. It was a long paragraph about how her son oh my God. All right. It was a long paragraph about how her son was so excited after our date and showed her how pretty I was on my Instagram page, but was becoming depressed since I hadn't texted or called him back. And she just wanted me to know that her son is an amazing catch, and she just wanted to let me know. I didn't know what to do with myself when I read it. I was shocked, horrified, but it was kind of amusing. But that's absolutely not a situation I want to be involved in. So I ghosted her too and blocked her son. What's up with all the mama's boys? Matilda. God damn. What? I feel like lately, not lately, it's just been like a very steady stream of like mama's boys submissions. And I've said it before, I think it's great for anyone to have a good relationship with their mother. I believe strongly in having healthy family dynamics, but I think the key word there is healthy. Did the mom think that she was going to message Matilda and have Matilda be like, wow, I would love to be a part of this family? Like, ma'am, you are so overstepping your boundaries. It is insane. I wonder, I wonder, does he know his mom did this? I would assume he doesn't know. I think I'm making some pretty big assumptions here, though. But I would think that he doesn't know that his mom did this because who in their right mind would be like, yeah, mom, can you text my date and see why she's ghosting me? But then again, people are interesting. I'm trying to like be nice about it. I don't know. Like it's just like cut the cord, guys. It's this is this is unhealthy. I do kind of wish you would have messaged her back literally just for the plot, not because I want you to like continue dating this guy, but just I'm so curious to know what's going on. See, it's the curiosity in me. I'm just like, but at the same time, I guess it's like leading her and her son on. I don't know. Like this is this is weird. And I think I've talked about this before. I'm not 100% sure because I feel like I have a really good memory, but when I talk on this podcast, I never remember what I say. Like later on tonight, Robert's going to get home and he's going to be like, "Oh, how was your episode?" And I'm going to be like, "I have no idea." I really feel like I black out while I film and record these episodes. And then I edit them and then I never listen to them ever again because the sound of my own voice is grating. Sorry, you guys have to listen to it. But I black out when I'm on such a tangent. The 2 sips of wine I think like got me. Okay, hold on. Let's regroup. What I was going to attempt to say right now is I think I've talked about it before, but I'm not sure. There's a show on TLC because of course it's TLC. They find the most interesting people. It's called I Love a Mama's Boy. And it has like different couples like in each season. I want to say it has like 3 or 4 seasons. And it's about a person coming into this like mother son relationship dynamic and trying to see how like they fit into it. And the mother's always overbearing. There was one mom who just didn't like her son's girlfriend because she wasn't of their, was it religion or nationality? Maybe both. I don't know. And there was another one who she really liked her son's fiance, but her and her son had like, I don't know, like this weird like sexual tension. It was creepy. Like they were gonna do their mother son dance at the wedding to sexual healing. That's not appropriate for a wedding at all, let alone for a mother and son. What just I'm on a tangent. Anyway, it's a good show to watch when you want to feel better about your own life, which is usually why I turn TLC on. Anyway, Matilda, I kind of wish you would have messaged her back and said like, "What's up?" Like I'm interested, confused and interested in why she thought messaging you was going to get her son another date because wow. All right, I think I went on a really big tangent right there. I'll try to edit it as I can. Okay. Well, Matilda, you got me into a tizzy. Let's see, who do we have next? Next Gremlin story is from Kate. Kate says, Wendy has inspired me to tell my own wedding hookup story, except mine became a slight debacle. This one's funny. My best friend was getting married in Jamaica, and it wasn't a huge wedding, just close family and friends, around 20 people. One of those people was my ex husband, who is my best friend's brother. I grew up with both of them, best friends with my friend since middle school, and later dating her brother, who is a year older than us, in high school. We were high school sweethearts and got married at the age of 20. We divorced 3 years later when I was 23. It wasn't acrimonious, we just realized we married too young and were better off as friends while we continued to grow into ourselves. I saw him often, and we have both dated other people, and everyone has kept the peace. So the night of my friend's wedding, we had all been celebrating and drinking, and after the party died down, my ex asked me if I wanted to have another drink with him in his room. I knew what that meant, and I was down, so we continued the party in his room and ended up hooking up. I should have left as soon as we were finished, but I fell asleep. In the morning, I tried sneaking out, but I was caught by his mom and dad, who then proceeded to tell everyone what they saw, and they were so excited we were getting back together. It was extremely embarrassing for us to explain that it was a one-night thing and we were remaining friends, but that was all. Not the best end to a wedding to explain to your ex-mother-in-law that you were just using her son as a booty call. Kate. Yeah. That's cringy as hell. I don't have anything for this one. I've never hooked up with someone at a wedding because the weddings I've gone to, I was either a child or I had like a date to the wedding. So that would have been inappropriate. But yeah, I hear weddings are a great place to meet someone, or I guess in your case, rekindle with past flames. But yeah, having to get caught by your ex mother in law and father in law, that's cringy. It's embarrassing. I'd probably just want to like crawl into a hole. I feel like you guys handled it pretty well. I would have just like probably never spoken to them ever again. Okay, and next we have Gremlin Guidance. I'm gonna have another sip of wine to see if this helps me or makes me worse. Let's hope I give good advice. Okay, the first one is from Anonymous. Anonymous says, should I feel bad I didn't ask my friend to be a bridesmaid in my wedding? I have been friends with her for almost 10 years, and even though I love her and want her to be at my wedding, I don't really trust her to be in the bridal party. She has always been extremely flaky and unreliable, and is one of those people who thinks the sky is falling down at the most minor inconveniences. One time she flaked on going to my birthday trip to Puerto Rico the morning of and mere hours before we were supposed to hop on a plane because the bathing suit she ordered hadn't arrived yet and she, quote, had nothing to wear. I ended up going on the trip solo. That would piss me off. A few months ago, we had our engagement party, and even though she RSVP'd for herself and her boyfriend, she was a no call, no show. I didn't hear from her until the next day when she texted me, sorry, I couldn't make it last night. Hope you two had fun. That was just the last straw after years of her constantly not showing up. So last week, I had a brunch and invited my girls over to formally ask them to be my bridesmaids slash maid of honor. I was content with my decision to not include her, but now I'm feeling guilty. We haven't spoken about the brunch, but I know she knows about it since she liked all of the girls' stories and posts from the event. Should I say something to break the ice or just let it be? Anonymous. Okay, I hate friends like this. Like, I understand, like, life happens and sometimes you can't show up to every single thing and whatnot. It's just like I can understand some of it, like to a point, but it's the RSVPing to something and then just flaking at the last minute. Like when you RSVP for something, that means there's usually for two people, not even just one, two people, herself and her boyfriend. That means like whoever's planning the event or paying for the event paid for those two people to be like fed. So I think that's like really rude to not show up when you RSVP to something. Also, the bailing on the trip, like it seemed like it was just the two of you going on this Puerto Rico trip, and she was just like, "Oh, sorry, my bathing suit didn't show up, can't make it." Like that's not even a good excuse. Like, and then you have to like take your birthday trip solo. Like I think it's just so inconsiderate, and friends like this drive me bonkers because it's just like if they were having events, I'm sure they would expect you to show up to them, but when it's your turn for them to show up for you, they just can't make it. All of a sudden they're busy. They have to do this, they have to do that. It's like, and if that's like the friendship that they are willing to have, where it's like a little more superficial, I suppose, then that's fine. But yeah, I wouldn't feel bad. I understand the feeling guilty of it where you're like, oh, like, you don't want to ever like intentionally make someone feel bad, but she's not a reliable person. At this point, I'm like, is she going to show up to your wedding at all? Like, what if she RSVPs and then she doesn't show up? And weddings are really, really expensive. Like, it could be like $100 per head. So her and her boyfriend don't show up, and it's like $200 flushed down the drain. I think, I'm debating this. You could break the ice to her, or you could just let it be. I'm trying to think what I would do. I really don't like confrontation. I think I would maybe wait to see if she says something to you about it. And who knows, maybe she's relieved she wasn't asked, because it seems like she has a lot on her plate just with like living life. So maybe the added stress of being a bridesmaid in your wedding, she's grateful she doesn't have to deal with that or have to like do that. She's obviously going to like still be invited to like bridal showers and the wedding itself. So maybe she's happy with that. I think if she says something to you, then you can be, I would just like prepare a statement or something, like in case she does come up to you and is like, hey, like what happened? Then you could be like, okay, well, look, these are the examples of how you haven't shown up for me. And I just, this is a really big day in my life. I can't afford for you to not, show up because I don't know, you just didn't feel like it that day. I would let it be. Personally, I would just let it be until she says something, if she ever does. And I mean, maybe she's just like more of a surface friend, someone who just like shows up when she can, and that's it. Maybe that's all she can mentally and physically handle. I don't know what else she has going on in her life, but you said she thinks the sky is falling at the most minor inconveniences. I know people like that, and I wouldn't ask them to be in my wedding either, because it's a lot to handle. You're trying to deal with your own emotions, but then you have to coddle theirs. It's like a little too much. So I think I would just wait to see if she says something. If she's still like RSVPs to like all the other, wedding celebrations, bridal shower, if you want to invite her to your bachelorette party, stuff like that, then maybe she's happy just attending the wedding. And if she's not just happy with that and she wants to say something, then you can explain to her why you didn't choose her. And then maybe she'll change your ways, or she'll just keep doing what she's doing, and your friendship can evolve however you see fit. I hope I answered that properly. I feel like I just like blabbered on. I haven't drank in a while either, too, so maybe that's screwing me up right now. Okay, well, let's just have some more wine and just keep it going. Okay, the next Gremlin guidance is from Anna. Anna says, hi, Emily. Hi. I have a question about friend group dynamics. I have always been the perpetually single friend out of the entire group. All of my friends have always had boyfriends, a couple now even have husbands, and I've just never really been in a relationship. It doesn't bother me at all, and I'm happy for all of them. My only issue is when we gather for lunch or dinner, or even just coffee or drinks, they always bring their significant others. I like all of their boyfriends and husbands, but sometimes I just want alone time with my girls without feeling like the third wheel or the tag along friend. How can I bring this up to them without sounding bitter or jealous or possibly offending anyone? Anna. Okay, so I think this should be pretty straightforward if there are like healthy communication skills amongst the group. And I would just say like, hey, look, I love all of I love everyone. I'm so happy for everyone. But is it possible we could just have like just like one girls' night, where it's just us and we have some girl talk and go out for drinks or dinner or whatever, have a slumber party, a wine night at home, like whatever you want it to be. I don't think anyone should take offense to this. I know if someone came to me, one of my friends, and was like, hey, I just want it to be a girls' night, I would catch the hint and just be like, okay, cool. And I know Robert wouldn't be like, well, why am I not invited? It's just like we're all allowed to have like our separate time. So I don't think it's that big of a deal to say that you just were hoping it could be girl time. But I don't know, because there are some people I can think of where they would like take offense to this, or maybe there's something going on in their relationship where they have to be like codependent and with each other at all times. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, I know like when I get together with like my girls, you sometimes will talk about stuff that we wouldn't talk about in front of guys. So it just, I feel like there shouldn't be an issue for you to say like, hey, look, I love so and so and so and so and so and so, but I was just hoping we could just have like it just be like a girls' night. There's just some things like I want to talk about, and I feel kind of weird talking about it in front of your boyfriends, your husbands. Like, I just miss like us having girl time. I feel like that's like not like an unreasonable request. And if it is an unreasonable request, then I think there's another conversation to be had. Like, why can't they be apart from each other? Is it the husband boyfriend's decision? Is it the girl's decision? Like, there's other dynamics at play here. So I would just straight up say it to them. And like, you're not coming from a place of bitterness, and they should understand that and they should know that. So I don't think this should be that big of an issue. I would just be honest and straightforward with your feelings. That's my advice. Hopefully it's okay. Yikes. Okay, and now we are on to Gremlin Gossip. Let's see. Gremlin Gossip, the first one is from Anonymous. And Anonymous says, I have a horrible gossip and I feel like a terrible person. I recently moved to a new city for grad school. A heavy deciding factor in picking this particular school was to be close to my older sister who moved here 3 years ago. I have my own apartment but live only a block away from her. About a week after I moved in, I was feeling kind of lonely. I just recently broke up with my boyfriend, so I decided to download Tinder and see what this city has to offer. I matched with a guy and we talked, and it seemed pretty clear we were interested in just hooking up for the night, no strings attached. So he comes over, we hook up, and that's the end of it. A while later, my sister invited me out for drinks with her and her best friend at their favorite local bar. I've met her friend the few times I was able to come out to visit, and I've always liked her, so I was excited to have a new friend as well. When I get there, I see them and we're all catching up. I find out they like going to this bar because her friend's boyfriend works there as the manager and always hooks them up. She waves her boyfriend over, and it's the Tinder date. I fell immediately cold, and when he saw me, he froze for a moment, but regained his composure and pretended he didn't know me. He then brings us some drinks and goes back to work. I started asking about their relationship, and they have been together for over a year, and she's talking about how amazing of a guy he is, and she's so lucky to have found him. And the whole time, I'm thinking he's scum and she has no idea he's cheating on her. I never said anything. I've debated telling my sister, but I don't want her to think less of me that I not only slept with her friend's boyfriend, but was also prowling Tinder looking for a hookup. But I've been feeling disgusted about the entire situation. Anonymous. Okay, so I know this isn't a Gremlin Guidance question. It was just gossip. You're just getting it off your chest. But I do feel like I should give you a little bit of advice just because. Okay, so I think you should tell your sister about what happened and just say, in the moment, I didn't know what to do and I froze and he froze and then I wasn't sure how to tell you. I mean, I don't think your sister would think less of you for going on Tinder for a hookup. Isn't that what Tinder's for? I don't know. I've never been on the apps, so I mean, in my head, Tinder's like the hookup app. Like they're not there for like serious relationships. But either way, I feel like that's like kind of slut shaming to like look down upon someone for like going for a hookup. Like guys can do it and they get high fives, and women get like looked down upon. Like no, like those days are past us. Women are allowed to hook up with whoever they want. And you did not know that this guy was in a relationship. You sure as hell didn't know that it was your sister's friend's boyfriend. If you did, you obviously wouldn't have gone through with it. I think you should tell your sister, and then she can figure out how to go about telling the friend. Because it seems like the friend is pretty clearly in the dark, unless they have some arrangement where it's an open relationship and they're allowed to hook up with other people. Maybe that's the case. And maybe if you tell her, she'll be like, oh, yeah, they do that all the time. Who knows? I don't know. But I do think you should tell her just to not only clear your own conscience, but to get it off your chest. And this girl deserves to know that her boyfriend is scouring Tinder looking to hook up. Like, that's not cool. What a dick. All right, let's move on to our final piece of Gremlin gossip. And we're going to end on a funny note, actually. So let's have some more wine and then we'll end on some funnies. Okay. So Anonymous gossips. I did something bad. My friend had a housewarming party for her new apartment with her boyfriend. And a housewarming is a nice name. It felt more like a high school kickback. Instead of a classy party with wine, hors d'oeuvres, and conversation, they got a couple of kegs, chips and dip, and beer pong. After a few hours of drinking, I needed to pee, so I tried both bathrooms. The hall bathroom had a mini line, and the bathroom in the master bedroom had a couple hooking up in it. But I was desperate. I looked around the bedroom and saw a fake ficus in the corner. I dropped my shorts, squatted over the plant, and just peed into the pot. I quickly ran away and rejoined the party so no one would suspect anything. A couple of days later, my friend told me that while she was cleaning, she smelled pee, and some guy must have peed in her plant. I didn't want to tell her it was me, and it does make more sense that a man had watered her plant. So I just said, ugh, guys are gross. She still has no idea it was me. Anonymous. I got nothing for you, Anonymous. I've never done this. And every time I feel like I make a declaration or a statement like that, I'm always terrified someone's going to come out of the woodwork and be like, well, actually, yes, you did. So as far as I'm aware, I've never done this. It just doesn't sound like something I would do because I don't even like to use like public restrooms. I'll hold it for as long as I possibly can. Like I'll let my bladder burst. I don't care. I'm not, going to go in some like random toilet. But yeah, going in someone's house plant. I mean, it was fake. I wonder, did it like leak out? Because it's fake, so it doesn't need to be watered. There's no need for like the ventilation. So I'm assuming it was like a puddle of your pee in the pot and it didn't like leak out onto the floor. I don't know. Now I'm wondering. Yeah, I don't know. Gross. And yeah, I would just let her think that some gross dude peed in her plant because that does make sense. I can see a guy just like whipping it out and like peeing really quick. It's very it doesn't seem likely that a girl would do that. Obviously a girl did do it, but it makes more sense that a guy did it. And yeah, guys are gross. So I'm glad you were able to pee. Good for you, Anonymous. I honestly, I would be, if I was that friend, I would be pissed that someone, man or woman, peed in my fake ficus plant. Like, those things are kind of expensive too. I've looked into getting like one of those like fake potted plants just like to put in the corner of a room, just, I don't know, for ambiance. That shit's expensive. And I'm like, do I really want to pay like $100 for a fake plant? I mean, eventually I will, but it's just like, it seems like kind of a whatever investment at the moment. But yeah, those are kind of expensive. So yeah, don't do that again. Okay, guys, that was our episode. I wanted to end on a happy note, and I guess happy this episode means pee. So there we go. If you would like to follow myself and the podcast, you may do so on Instagram and TikTok at Emily to Gremily Pod. They are still both currently updated. I've done a really good job, and I would like some applause on that because I've been doing a good job on doing a very bare minimum job of posting on social media. I don't know why I think it's so hard to post on both. It's like you think I'm over here doing the Lord's work or something. Anyway, if you go on Instagram and TikTok, they are both completely updated at Emily to Gremily Pod. If you would like to watch this episode and almost all the past episodes, you may do so on YouTube at Emily to Gremily Pod on YouTube. Especially go back and you can watch Robert's episode because the sound is perfect, crystal clear. Frustrating that it wasn't in the regular audio, but I'll figure it out. If you have your own Gremlin story, you need Gremlin Guidance, or you have a juicy piece of Gremlin Gossip, you may email that into the pod at emilytogrimlypod@gmail.com. And if you have questions for Robert, as some of you already have, you can put him in the subject line. I'm not going to give a date on when he'll come back in. It's all about scheduling, and we're both just very busy people. A call to action I'm saying at the end of every episode. If you have your own episode theme or topic suggestions, or you have a guest suggestion, whether it be a certain person, a profession, a hobbyist, anything like that that you want to see and hear on this podcast, you may email in your suggestions at emilytogremlypod@gmail.com or message or DM me on social media, whichever you prefer. Totally up to you. We do have a call to action. I received an email from Junie. Junie's email said, I thought it might be fun for all of us to commiserate over our worst breakups and make it an entire episode. I'm sure there are enough listeners who have had horrible experiences, either as the victim or the perpetrator. Attached is my worst breakup story. If we don't laugh, we'll cry, so we might as well make some entertainment. Junie. And Junie, I have your story saved in a folder, so everyone else out there, write in your worst breakup stories, whether you were the cause of it or the victim of it. We don't care over here. We don't judge. Kind of, we do. But this is a safe space. You can just send those in, and we will do an entire episode on worst breakups. I feel like I've talked about my worst breakup. I can talk about it again, I guess. I don't know. It's not that fun of a story, actually. It's kind of scary and sad and depressing. But you know what? Like you said, if we don't laugh, we'll cry. So I'll tell my worst breakup story again, and you guys send those in at emilytogremlypod@gmail.com, or you can send them as a message on Instagram or TikTok. Also, remember, whatever you're submitting, make sure to let me know if you would like to remain anonymous or if I can read your name on the podcast. If it remains unsigned, I assume it's anonymous. So just a little quick heads up. And that is our episode. I'm really excited for the future plans I have with this podcast. I'm excited for the pop culture episodes with Jay to get started. I have some guests in the works that I'm really excited about. And yeah, just stay tuned for exciting news, exciting developments. And thanks for listening today. Make sure to like, follow, share, subscribe, rate 5 stars, do all the things. We're going to cheers out with our white wine, which we actually drank a decent amount of. Good for us. So cheers to you, cheers to me, and cheers to Kate, who had to explain to her ex-mother-in-law that she was using her son as a booty call. Cheersies. Bye.